Hi there, friends. Rebecca here, the Dragon Librarian from Farmington Community Library. And Brill and I are here today to talk to you about two really awesome books that we just recently read that we think you might also like. Now, I didn't plan it this way when I read these two this week, but they both have a very similar sort of vibe to them, which is a little bit creepy. The stories couldn't be more different in terms of what the plots actually are, but both of them have this like sinister creepiness kind of rustling around through the pages that I thought was really, really cool. So the first one is called The Lost Village by Camilla Sten. The Lost Village. And you can tell just from the cover this one's going to be a creepy one. Now this is sort of straddles the line between thriller and mystery. It's a little bit of both. I could not put it down, which I think is always a really good telltale sign of a great thriller. I couldn't put it down. It hooked me right from the beginning, this mystery. So basically this is about this film, this woman who wants to create films, and this is her first adventure into that. Her name is Alice, and her grandmother is a survivor of this town called, now this is Swedish, so I'm probably saying it wrong, Sveltjorn. And so she is a survivor from this town where back in the 50s, everybody disappeared that was living in the town. No sign of them, no trace of the bodies. All their belongings and everything were still in their houses. So it looked like didn't look like they all got up and left because they left all their things there, but there were also no bodies anywhere. So did they die? If they did, where were the bodies and what happened to them? And this mystery has been unsolved for years. Now, Alice's grandmother had been living in a different part of the world when this happened. So she obviously didn't get, she did not disappear. And she has these letters from her sister who was inside the village, that they're trying to find out what happened to this village. So Alice has inherited these letters. She has always grown up listening to the stories of this town and like the mystery and what happened. So she wants to create a documentary about this town. So her and a couple people that she's chosen to do this are in this town, this abandoned place, when things start to go wrong. Equipment starts to disappear, people start to have accidents, and they have to wonder, is this place haunted? What is going on? What is the actual mystery behind this place? So, like I said, I could not put it down. It was so creepy and awesome, and I just was so... I didn't guess the ending at all. But that's pretty typical of me anyway. I'm not really good at figuring out mysteries and the endings of mysteries. But some of the twists I thought were absolutely fantastic. So if you're looking for a new mystery or a new thriller, and you want to be creeped out a little bit, this one is definitely the case. It's very, very creepy. And I absolutely loved it. It was super fun. The Lost Village. Aren't you just already hooked and want to know what happens in this book? I'm telling you, it's going to grab you right away. So this next one is called All the Murmuring Bones by A.G. Splatter. All the Murmuring Bones. And I love this cover so much. So as you can probably maybe guess from this cover, this has to do with mermaids. But not the fun, cute Disney kind of mermaids, like more sinister type sirens. And this is about a young woman named Mirren, whose family owns this big house, but it's really kind of like a castle in the village, and has just been this dominating, prominent force in the village for years and years and years. And the reason why is because they made a deal with the sea creatures when they were first getting established, to where they will sacrifice one of the young children to them to help with their prosperity. So this has been going on and going on and going on. Well, the family is getting older and weaker. The blood is getting weaker, and people aren't following through on this like they used to. So the family starts to lose its prosperity. And pretty soon it's up to Mira now to try to figure out what she's going to do. And the thing that I really loved about this book is that it doesn't really come out and tell you what even time period it takes place in. Some of the conversations feel very modern, but at the same time there's horse-drawn carriages and a lot of like Victorian sensibilities. So it could kind of take place at any time, which was really cool. And I like that they didn't bring that up because it makes you focus more on the characters themselves and the actual story than the world building. And another thing I really liked about this is that it's just got this creepy vibe running through it, and like this almost like this menacing chill. That was really interesting, and it felt a lot. It's definitely like a gothic story. So it has the crumbling house, it has the the creepy family and things like that. But it also reminded me a lot of books like Rebecca and the We Have Always Lived in the Castle, and where basically, and The Haunting of Hill House, where basically a house or a setting is its own character. And I love when books do that. So I just want to read you a few lines of this book so you get the feel of its creepiness and also its beauty, because I also want to say this book is written really well. See this house, perched not so far from the granite cliffs of Hobbs Head? Not so far from the promontory where once a church was built? It's very fine, the house. It's been here a long time, far longer than the church, both before and after. And it's less a house, really, than a sort of castle now. Perhaps fortified mansion describes it best, an agglomeration of buildings of various vintages. The oldest is a square tower, from where the family first made enough money to better their circumstances. Four stories, an attic, and a cellar, in the middle of which is a deep, broad well. The great house is crumbling, and the massive curved iron gates at the entrance have not been closed in a decade, for fear any movement will tear them from their rusted hinges. There's just a single daughter left of the household. She's 18, this girl, a woman, really, raised mostly in isolation, taught to run a house as if this one isn't a ruin waiting to fall, with a dying family, no fortune, and no prospects of which to speak. And there's an old woman, with plans and plots of long gestation, and there's the sea, which will have her do, come hell or high water, and there are secrets and lies which never stay buried forever. See, very cool. And I love that they address the house. The house is the very first thing that you see and is talked about. Super, super interesting. And that is, again, all the Murmuring Bones. So I hope that both of these books sound really cool and interesting. If so, please feel free to pick them up from the Farmington Community Library. You can do that through our curbside service, or also you can come into both buildings now. We are open for browsing, so you can come in and do that as well. Thank you so much, friends, and have a wonderful rest of the day.